Hi, this is Mina, owner of Lamina Beauty. All right, this video, get right into it. It's gonna be signs of spiritual warfare. I don't really know what I'm gonna really sign. I don't know what I'm really gonna title this video, but anyway, yeah. So I have about 5 signs, and this these signs are just doorways to lead into more problems in your life if you don't take care of them. And if you feel as though you're going through these, then you might need to fast and pray because, of course, can't be, certain demons can't or won't flee but through fasting and prayer. So we're going to get right into it. Number one, you have poor hygiene / you have low interest in keeping up with your hygiene. So everyone has heard cleanliness is next to godliness, of course. And this is not just like showering. This can be like not want to brush your teeth and not want to wash your hands. Spiritually, not want to take care of yourself and pray over yourself or over others. Um, so the definition of hygiene, right, is conditions and practices conducted to maintaining your health and prevent a disease, right? So you're basically saying to yourself subconsciously that you want to die, you don't care about yourself, and you're with yourself 24/7, so your body recognizes, and most importantly your spirit recognizes when it's not being cared for, and it leads into other things. But of course, demons, they like a confused vessel, a weak vessel, a dirty vessel, a busy vessel, a distracted vessel, most importantly an empty vessel. Like, they just need a vessel that's not aligned and doesn't know what it's doing so it can take over that person's body. So cleanliness is definitely next to godliness. My second point is you're constantly trying to be sedated. So drinking, smoking, substances, popping, snorting, whatever, right? You're hiding or coping, which there's a time and a place, of course. Like, you have a busy life and something, you got some bad news, and later, I don't know, it's someone's birthday. So yeah, you need to take a shot to keep, information down. And like I said, there is a time and a place, and of course the Lord said it's okay to have strong drink. um but the key word I used was constantly. You're constantly trying to be sedated, so you're inviting demons in, because like I said, demons like a weak vessel, a dirty vessel, a busy vessel, a distracted vessel, an empty vessel. And one thing I learned on my walk with the Lord, kind of early on, is that I paid attention to when people kept pointing out that liquor stores, they don't just say like liquor and stuff, they say spirits and wine. So liquor and some strong drinks were specifically made for certain spirits to enter your body if you consume too much of it. That's why the Bible doesn't speak necessarily on strong drink, it speaks on the overconsumption of the strong drink. And constantly doing this, constantly being a weak vessel, invites demons in. My third point is overeating. Now, of course, everyone, when they think of gluttony, they think of overeating, but that's why I didn't say it with the drinking, because of course that's anything over is gluttony. Too much of is gluttony. So, but I want to say it with eating because most people recognize gluttony with eating. So by overeating, it's definitely not helping your spiritual hygiene. I say this because while food can make us feel good, overeating leads to spent time doing nothing, belly aches, hormones, weight gain, and if you live in America, everything else that you could think of to lead you to the hospital. Okay, there are very few things that we can control on this earth, and eating, depending on how you were living, is one of them that you can control usually. But overeating shows the enemy something, and it shows the enemy that you lack self control, you lack self discipline. And so, although the enemy is not omnipresent, thank God for the Lord for being omnipresent, but although the enemy is not omnipresent, he will study your where your weak spots are. He will study your patterns, and he will most importantly harp on your weakness. He has no grace or mercy. He like that's left for the Father. And so the devil only comes to kill, steal, and destroy. And don't think you're just gonna be getting by and oh, it's nothing. You can do it every week. Eventually, the devil will try to set you up to a place where he knows you're gonna do it. He knows exactly what you're gonna bite on, and he will kill you with it. My fourth point I have on here is your first thoughts are negative thoughts. I think everyone has had since they were young an angel on their shoulder and a devil on another one. Which your first thoughts are your negative thoughts, so which means you have very nasty spirits on you or in your ear. And so that could be jealousy, how come she got that, or offensive spirit, like why they said that like that with that tone, or Jezebel spirit. I'm just naming a few. Um, Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to go with your gut sometimes. Like the first thing that comes to your mind isn't always the most positive thought, and it isn't always the one you should go with or lead with. I'm gonna be honest, in my mind, sometimes it can get very negative and I have to catch myself, because you'll start to say certain things out loud and now you're putting spells on yourself, and you shouldn't be repeating. If you're going to repeat something to yourself, it shouldn't be a negative thought, because eventually you're going to start to believe it and your body's going to start to believe it. And this is how people end up in toxic relationships, even with themselves and with your mind, because you need to train your mind, because the body goes, and then the body goes after the mind. So you need to control what's in your head and what's in your thoughts at all times, really. And even when you can't, if you don't know what to say, you don't know how to be positive in a situation, look at or read at what Jesus went through, because Jesus went through everything we've been through, any and everything you could think of, any and every sin, any and every temptation, any and every um, consequence. Which the only one we didn't go through is that none of us had died for another person and rose again. But he has been through and everything we're going through, and is on the same earth we're in. We are in different times, but the Lord is alive today and he's with you. And anything you're going through, you need to bring it to him. Everything is not meant for your shoulders, especially when you have King of all kings you could talk to at any time. But your first thoughts being a negative thoughts is not going to help your spiritual hygiene in no way, because you like, I think I've said enough, but honestly, your first thoughts being negative thoughts, you're not going to have a positive life with a negative mind, because inevitably the world is what you make it. And so the world is anything you have in your mind. And so make sure you're surrounding yourself with positive things that will uplift you and keep you going, not things that will make you sit down and think and waste time, because tomorrow is not promised. My fifth point is you don't want to be alone, or you're scared to be alone. If you never have time for yourself, when are you going to speak to God? That would be my number one thing. I heard something recently, I can't remember where I heard it from, but they're like, if you're not spending time with God, then you're spending time with others. And it's true. Even if you're spending time with yourself and you're watching something online, you're spending time with someone else. You're spending time watching someone else's life and living their experiences. So you're spending time with someone else, or you're spending time talking to your family. That's someone else. You're spending time educating yourself. Um, that's something else. But you're genuinely only ever spending time with God or spending time with other people. And I would rather spend most of my money, okay? If I had to bet on something, I would bet on the Lord, okay? Whatever whatever stems from you not wanting to be alone, only you and God would know. It can be healed and you can ask the Lord to help you. Any and everything you should be praying for. At first, I thought you should just be praying for other people or praying for the circumstances you're in or anything, but you could pray for anything. I mean, you could pray for your back rows to get off your back. Like, you could pray for, you know what I'm saying? You could pray for any and everything. That was just that was just my first thought, but you can pray for anything. Don't think that you can hide from the Lord and go throughout life. He will continue to put certain things in front of you until you give it to him. It will always be on your back until you give it to the Lord. I would say learn to do things with yourself, or you will be put into isolation season. This isn't like a warning. I'm just speaking from experience. When I could not be alone, well, mind you, um, I've spent a lot of my time alone in this lifetime, more than the average person, because I was the only child and I did not get along with a lot of people, nor did I really want to. So I've spent a lot of my time alone, and so I've been through this process of wanting to be around people constantly, to the point where you get so comfortable. Once you finally do find yourself and find what you like to do, it's harder to be with people because you realize, like, a lot of people, like, you would think it's a lot of people want to do what you want to do. It's a lot of people want to build themselves and be successful, but it's really not. This is why you're so isolated. This is why you're so different. This is why you're so chosen, because to be exceptional, you must be excluded. It's just, it is what it is. To be exclusive, you must be excluded. Like, it just is what it is. So you shouldn't necessarily, I'm not going to say you shouldn't want friends, but you don't need it. The Lord is all you need. He will send people. The Lord is my witness. He will send people your way whenever you truly need it, or whenever he feels like you truly need people. He will send them your way. He will send your disciples. He will send your help your way. But you must learn to do things on your own, by yourself, and process life and give yourself time to grab life by the throat. Don't just let life happen to you. And you always, of course, must remember misery loves company, and you're not miserable, so you shouldn't be loving company. You should want to be by yourself. You should want to feel at peace by yourself, because the only thing that you really have is yourself. And if you're on this journey with God, really, we don't even have ourselves, okay? We don't even really have ourselves, so we have nothing. But I will say, you must learn to be comfortable by yourself, because this is the only thing you have that is on you 24/7. Your mind is the only thing that's with you constantly. So you must learn to sit with yourself and be okay with that. Even Jesus went and spent time with God, but most importantly, he went away. He went away and spent time alone. And in the Bible, it don't be saying like Jesus had friends, Jesus had a wife, Jesus had this, Jesus had a Mercedes. It's none of that in the Bible. Like, none of that is promised. Of course, Matthew 6:33, you will get all. Seek God and his kingdom, you will get all things will be added to you. But sometimes maybe the fruit you're looking for isn't what you even need to be. Of course, we are called to be transformed by the renewer of our minds. So maybe what you're looking for is not particularly what you actually need. And being around people all the time, you're constantly giving your energy up. It takes a lot to be around people and to be code switching. I'm gonna be real. Like, we can be like, oh, you're yourself around everybody, and I'm gonna be real, I am myself around everybody. I don't really hide anything, but there's some things you just need to hide. Well, not necessarily hide, but just don't jam in other people's faces, because people can turn on you very quickly, and certain things don't need to be revealed to the public, especially not prayers that you and God have talked about and things you and God have talked about in private. Don't be constantly giving your energy up, because after a while, you're going to have an empty cup. You can't pour out of an empty cup. Spiritual hygiene is important. Spending time with the Lord, praying, planning, schedules and rituals, doing things to fill your cup This is how you keep the enemy away. Being rooted in your success will is how you keep the enemy away. And without God in the mix, you're sure to crash and be left open. That's all I have today. I just want to give you some signs and hopefully help you with your spiritual path and to stay clean and to show you some things that could be doorways to why you're having so many problems in your life, or it's things to just look out for. So I hope you're having an amazing journey and remember to stay close to God. Thanks for listening. Bye now.